This is 99% craps.
Hard 10, hard 10. Here's the number.
I'll take the full odds on the 10, 200 on the hard way. The limit on all the numbers, 250 on the 11. Thank you very much.
Say, you played this game before.
Just once.
Welcome to the Red Eye Gamblers podcast. High above the second largest city, west of the Mississippi. Two chronic craps players, talking craps, playing craps, thinking craps. This is 99% craps.
Coming up on 99% Craps, I'm spending the weekend in Lake Charles, Louisiana. On the way, I talk about my red chip plays and low rolling strategies. Also discuss CRAPS Superstitions. Then finish with post-trip reports from Saturday and Sunday. But first, casino scouting on a Friday night. Thursday, March 19th, 2020, episode 22. The Red Eye Gamblers present 99% Craps. And welcome back to 99% Craps. I am on another solo trip to Lake Charles, heading to the Isle of Capri, and then probably to the Golden Nugget, and then to Coshada. Probably do a session at each one of them, and then we'll see how it goes from there. But going on a Friday night, beautiful day, traffic's moving along, so hopefully there won't be any issues. And looking forward to getting back at it. Fridays are kind of it's the weekend, so it's a little crowded, and I haven't really been too many Friday nights, so I'm still kind of scouting and looking for opportunities. Everything that I've seen the last couple of times I've been on a Friday night have been just busy and crowded and congested, and not the great environments that I'm looking for to throw in the dice or betting on craps. Sometimes they open up, they'll open up tables around 9 or 10, and but those typically are like $25 tables, and so I'd rather play at a lower limit table. I guess one of the things we were talking about last episode was the 2020 change in bankroll, and that basically I'm kind of taking a look at it, starting anew, and pretty much starting from scratch again. Have a low bankroll and trying to grow it. And so I think if I could take 6 months to grow my bankroll, use the spring and summer to catapult into my fall and winter trips, I think that might work out pretty well. So, but we'll see. It all is a matter of paying attention and having a little bit of discipline. And so far, that's probably the thing that I need to work on the most. And that's better discipline. I'm getting better with my betting strategy. I have been turning my bets off more often, which is what I wanted to do, and that's probably something I would suggest to everybody, is get more and more comfortable with turning off your bets and not having that much money exposed to a loss. There's only so many numbers they're going to hit, and even if you miss one or two, but then you can save your 3-4 bets across. That's an extra, depending on what your bets are, but it could be anywhere from $50 to $100 or more that you're saving. So anyway, that's something I've been focusing more on, and that's something that I think I've gotten better at. Now I just need to pay attention to my stop loss rules of when I'm down 50% of my session bankroll, I need to stop, as opposed to thinking I can crawl my way back up and that just doesn't happen. It used to. That's the thing. You do it once, and then you think you can do it every single time, and that's not the case at all. I think in craps, you can pretty much, one of the fractions that's pretty popular is 1 in 6. That's how many sevens, or that's how often you'll roll a 7 is 1 in 6. So that's probably not a bad judgment to kind of look at when you're talking about length of rolls and how long you're going to stay up on certain things. 6 is kind of think of it as a cycle. You can get past the first 6. Can you get past the second 6? And then can you get past the third 6? That's 18 rolls. And I think really that's probably the better way to look at it, or a good way to look at it. So it's how I kind of look at it. And it depends on if you're playing positive or negative. If I'm playing on the pass line, then I'm wanting the longer rolls. I'm putting my money on the bonus, and I'm encouraging those long rolls. Obviously, when you're on the don't pass and the don't come,
give yourself to the dark side.
That's a different strategy, and you're hoping for a choppy or short table, so that your don't come pets.
If you only knew the power of the dark side,
don't get knocked off, and that you're not chasing your don't pass.
You underestimate the power of the dark side.
After the shooter's making a couple of points. So it really just depends on your strategy when you're coming along, when you're approaching the table, or when you're approaching your session, starting your session. Sorry. But anyway, so going out to Lake Charles, and pretty much just going to assess the Friday night tables. I'm pretty sure that Friday night at Isla Capri should be fun. It just depends on how many people are there. They only have 2 tables, so they'll both be running. The problem is they'll probably both be full. One of them will definitely be full. So, and then what's the minimum going to be? They've been $15 and $10 during the day, so we'll have to see. I don't know that I've actually been there on a Friday night. And then I know Golden Nugget, what they look like on a Friday night, because we stayed there the last time. So I might jump to Kashada to take a look at them on a Friday night. They do have a $5 table, and then they'll have 2. Well, they've got a total of 5 tables they could have running, but I think they might just have 4. So 1 $5, and then 3 at $10. And those things are monsters too. Those things are big 16-foot tables, so they can fit a lot of people. So it depends on how crowded it is out there. So we'll just have to see. But I had a good roll, or a good session the last time I was out there, so I thought I'd go back and see if that's going to work. And then I don't know. We'll see what happens with LAUBERGE. The last time we talked, like 200 people got sick at LAUBERGE from some sort of norovirus, which I guess is related to the coronavirus. But either way, 200 people getting sick at a casino makes me want to not visit that casino for a little bit. So it's only been a couple of weeks. I'm saying I give it another couple of weeks at least. So no LAUBERGE this time, which is why I'm thinking about going out to Kashada to get that 3 casino fill. So, and then I know that I'll spend Saturday over at Golden Nugget because it's nice and I like going over there, but then also because I got free tickets to 311. 311 is playing at Golden Nugget in Lake Charles. Go figure. But actually Thursday they were in New Orleans. That's why they're on their way across. So in New Orleans on Thursday, Lake Charles on Saturday. So I'm a little excited about seeing 311. So that all being said, I'll be at the Golden Nugget Saturday evening. So I can probably think about playing either before or after the show. And then maybe Isle of Capri on my way home on my way back to the hotel on Saturday night, and then Sunday morning figure out if I want to play or not, depending on how many sessions now that I'm going for Friday and Saturday night, there's 2 sessions to be had tonight, and I could play probably 5 sessions tomorrow if I wanted to, and then 1 or 2 on Sunday. So out of all those sessions, how many am I going to win? How many am I going to lose? As long as I keep to my stop loss, I should be okay, but I also need to be able to win in order to play those additional sessions as well. So we'll just kind of have to see how it goes and see how long I can make it last. But basically, I'm just calling a session, walking in and doing an initial buy-in and playing at the table for, whatever time period that is. That's the session. And I guess that's another thing I'm going to try to do. And then if I put it on the podcast, then I've got to do it. So I am going to be recording my rolls. I haven't done that in the past. I've tried to rely on other people to do that, and that, I shouldn't have been doing that anyway. But now it's a matter of if you're out here on the road by yourself, then you need to take care of it because ain't nobody else going to help you. So I've got a little chart, little form that I've made, so it's easy for me to fill out with a pen and paper, or it's basically a strip of paper. So we'll see how that works out. But yeah, I'm going to try to be doing that. Actually, it's kind of a scouting report, little piece of paper. So it'll have, how many tables, what the table types were, what the minimum was, all the different particulars about the casino, and then, what time you bought in, how much you bought in for, and then I'm going to try to track my rolls of, how many points I got and how many rolls I made, and then obviously if I hit the bonus or not. So. But as far as other people goes, I'm not going to be taking notes on them. I'm not going to be tracking the table that way. I'm just going to be basically tracking myself for me to evaluate myself at, different times of the day and at different casinos, and specific tables too. So, which specific table you're at the casino. So that's something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and just haven't made it a habit. So we'll see about getting that started this time. Okay, so I thought I'd talk a little bit about my low rolling strategy for tonight. So probably going to buy in for less than 500. Hoping to play at $5 or $10 tables. Different strategy for different limits. So I guess let me go to $10 and start there, since I think that's probably going to be the first place I play is at Isle of Capri, and I think that'll be $10. So for the most part, I'm going to try to get a feel for the table. So I'll buy in. Depends on where I'm at too. If my spot's open, then maybe I'll go there and try to shoot. If my spot's not open, then I'm not going to shoot, and then that brings me to different strategies. You have different types of strategies for your different plays. So when you're shooting, I've got one strategy. When I'm not shooting, I got another strategy, and then when I'm in different positions, I've got different strategies for those positions. Sometimes it's easier to play the don't come.
You underestimate the power of the dark side.
When you're next to the dealer versus across or, down next to the stick guy. The don't come box is far away from you. So it's not always best to be, playing that bet if you're not close to it. So, position does matter for some of the styles and strategies of betting that I like to do. So, it's all starts with, where's room at the table and where are you going to be in? Am I going to be the shooter? Am I not? And then So, assuming that I am a shooter, and assuming that it's a $10 table, I think, let's see. So, if it's going to be a $10 table and I'm shooting, then I'm still putting $25 on myself. I've already done this enough where I've hit the ATS I've hit the ATS a ton of times, and I'm kind of tired of hitting it at $5, or at a 212 or a 515. I definitely would rather hit a 10-5-10 or even just a 10-10, 10-0-10. So that all being said, when I'm shooting, I'm probably going to be betting $25 so that I can have, a $10 half of an ATS. So I'm doing a 10-5-10 or at least a 10-0-10. Eventually I want to get that up higher because I enjoy betting on the all tall small bonus, and I have a history of hitting it. So anyways, that's just my strategy. And then the other thing is the pass line ends up being tied to the bonus bet, because if you bet on the bonus, then you lose when the 7 comes out, or anytime a 7 does. But on the come out, you'll win your pass line bet, but then you'll lose your bonus bet. And so if you have a pass line, then your pass line's equal to or more than your bonus bet, then anytime you hit a 7, it can get replenished. So that's kind of one of the things when we're playing, when I'm playing the bonus bet, I'll make sure I have a pass line bet that's equal to or greater than. That way, if a 7 hits on the come out, I'm not losing that bonus bet. Now, I know a lot of people hop the 7s or do something red, and that's basically the same thing. But that's kind of what I do for me. So then that's the bonus bet, and so that's just one kind of system to itself. It's you're not playing any point, you're not playing any box numbers, you're not playing anything else. This is just the pass line and the bonus bet. Now, once the point's made, then you decide whether or not you want to play odds on those. And the way I look at it is, if it's the first point, I'll consider odds for sure. And then it just depends on what point it is. If it's a 6 or 8, I'm usually definitely doing odds. If it's a 5 or 9, I might be doing odds. If it's a 10 or a 4 and it's the first point, I might consider it, but I might just put single odds because then it will double up. But and then again, it just depends on how the temperature of the table, how I'm still assuming that I just got there, so I probably wouldn't be betting a bunch of numbers. I think I would, like I said, either I'm just going to be playing the pass line and the bonus, or I'll be playing something else. But when we're talking about pass line and odds and low rolling, I think your 5 times odds is enough. Now, granted, Lake Charles odds are 20 times odds everywhere, so a little different from other parts of the country. So that all being said, 5 times for a $500 bankroll, minimum bet, $10. You can bet as much as you want, but in relationship to your bankroll, you probably shouldn't put more than $50 odds. Technically, But I mean, you can put as much as you want out there, but then, you know, you lose and then say goodbye to that bankroll. You know, if it's $50, you can take a hit like that once or twice, but after, you know, after a couple, you know, my stop loss is 50%. So if I'm doing 500, you know, once I lose 250, then I need to stop. So you can only bet with $50 odds a few times and lose, and still expect to keep playing. So I'm really trying to think of other ways to spread my money out, and so that's kind of where I'm at with odds on the pass line and the bankroll. Some, but not a lot. And then, but again, this all revolves around pass line, bonus bet, and then first point. Now, after the first point's made, now you're on the second point. There's a couple of different plays. Depending on how many numbers they hit to get to that first point, you might not even play the pass line for the second point. The real reason you had your pass line bet up there was in order to make the bet on the bonus. So now that you've earned some numbers on that bonus, you don't necessarily, you know, when a 7 comes again, you know, are you really going to go back, you know, if they do a 7 on the come out for the second point, you know, are you really going to go back up there, or are you going to wait for the next shooter? And so that's kind of the other thing is, you know, we don't really play second points very often, so I'm not really going to play a bonus on the, you know, 2 bonuses on the same person. I've done it before and it's worked out before, but you know, I'll put back in for the bonus once they hit the bonus, you know, or if you notice that they're hitting a ton of numbers. But second point is doubtful to play, because what I'd rather do is I'd rather than, you know, either get established on the 6 and 8, or just wait for the next shooter and have a different play for the next shooter. You know, each shooter can be its own game. You don't, you know, obviously you don't have to play the same way each time, but you know, that's one way I can think about it is, you know, this strategy, this game is for this person, this shooter. And then once he's done, you know, sometimes I haven't done it very often, but you know, you can take a break. You don't have to bet on every shooter. But you know, if you're low rolling, and you know that's what we're talking about doing, then you're back to, you know, do you want to play the pass line and bonus, or do you want to play the 6 and 8, or you know, one of the numbers and their sister? You know, 6 and 8, 5 and 9, 4 and 10. You know, one of those pairs. And then at a $10 table, you know, that's, you know, $24 6 and 8, and then you know, $20 5 and 9. So it's still within your bankroll. I think the way that I'd like to do it is $12 6 and 8. If it hits within the first 5 rolls, I'm pressing my $12 6 or 8 that hit to $30. I'm throwing the dealer $4, and I'm telling them to make my 6 or 8 look like 30. And then hopefully they hit it again. If they do hit it again, then I'm gonna pick up the 5 and 9 for the minimum for $10 each. So if it hit again, it would pay 35, and basically then I would take 20 of that, put it on 2 numbers, and then I got 15 in my pocket. So that's one of the plays I like to do. And then I would just probably take a few hits if I could and turn it off, and then leave that set up for the next shooter. And that's something I'm going to try to do a lot on this deal. I think, you know, when you're thinking about strategy and you're thinking about how often someone's going to hit numbers or how long is their roll going to be, and then you've got this net, and this net is your 6 and 8, you you know, and then if you got the 5 and 9 and the 4 and 10, you know, what those numbers are across the top. You know, how big, how wide is your net? How big is your net? Do you just have 2 numbers? Do you have 3? Do you have 4? You know, or do you have all of them? And so I think what I'm going to try to do is, you know, have that net cast for a few rolls, and then either take down the outsides or just turn them off and wait for the next shooter, and then leave them on for, you know, 3-4 rolls, and then turn it off and see how often I can keep this net going. You know, because for the most part, once I spread out, it'll kind of get paid for, and then once it's paid for, then you can start raising. And then once you start raising, you really have to be careful, because you don't want to raise and then having them 7 out. You want to make sure you have enough money. So, you know, it's this gentle play between raising and turning things off, and then making sure you're pocketing some money. So that'll be one of the strategies I'm playing with tonight. Is, you know, playing on sisters, most likely the 6 and 8. Sometimes the 4 and 10. If the 4 and 10, you know, every once in a while, you know, I'll see it one night and it's like nothing but 4s and 10s. And so that would be a night where I'm just, you know, buying the 5 and, buying the 4 and 10, and then having it hit once or twice and then turning it off. And then having it hit once or twice and turning it off. You know, the other thing is a regression play. You can do it at a quarter and then go down to 10, you know, and then build it back up. But it just depends on how often they're hitting. And I would still say, you know, if you're getting, you know, $49 out of that 25 on the 4 and 10, you know, you can do that once, twice. That's enough for that shooter. I mean, sometimes it's good to have a goal per shooter. You don't have to be that detailed, but, you know, if you can say, okay, I want to win at least $25, or I want to, you know, make, and then once you do that, then you stop. You know, it's a different way of playing, and you're not playing streaks, and I mean, it's just a different way to play craps within the rules, and using a little more of the math of math, but. So we'll see how that works, but that's one of my low rolling plays that I'm going to try to do is cast that net. Okay, so we talked about me being the shooter and the different strategies. Now, when I'm not the shooter, what are my strategies? And I guess they start to fall, if I'm on the positive side, they start falling in line with not playing the pass line, possibly playing the bonus. And again, well, I say not playing the pass line. If you're playing the bonus, if I'm playing the bonus, then most likely I will hedge that with a pass line bet. And then sometimes I win that pass line bet. Then you win that, and then you've got your bonus paid for. And then don't play the second point, because you're already up then with house money on the bonus. But that's one bet. That'll be, you know, $20 or so, $10 bet with a $10 bonus bet. That's $20. You know, that's a low rolling bet, you know, bet size. Well, then basically then I'm back to betting on sisters. So, you know, low rolling, you're doing the 6 and 8. You know, if you're at a $5 table, it's going to be a $6, 6 and 8. You know, or, you know, $10, then it's a $12, 6 and 8. And I already told you that I like, you know, if the 6 or 8 hits early, then I like doing a full press to 30 from that 12. And then again, it's just being good with turning things on and turning things off, and then possibly trying to spread things around. But, you know, having a goal per shooter is not bad. But then, you know, you just have to stay disciplined too, and be really, really cognizant of how much exposure you have out there. You know, I like talking about, you know, playing with house money. You know, that you know, the 6 is paid for, the 8's paid for, the 5's paid for, the 9's paid for. You know, have this money back so that you're playing with house money, and then grow those bets. But again, if you turn those off, then that's house money for the next roller. Now, you know, now if you can grow that up again and then turn it off, then you start growing your net with house money, and then you know, after a while you can take it all down and start again from the minimum, or how, you know, however you want to do it. But that's probably the right way to go for, you know, low rolling, having 2 bets, and starting out and kind of grinding at it. And so that's what I do. You know, everything else you stay away from. There's no point in doing hard ways or field bets or any of that. And, you know, anything in the center, because you just don't have the bankroll to support you know, 1 roll bets. So so that, I think, would be all you really can and need to do, being a red chip player on the positive side. Now, there might be some opportunities for the don't side of things.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
So again, I think this is, you start thinking about position, which I talked about a little bit of, you know, if I want to play the don't come, I want a spot near the don't come box.
Give yourself to the dark side.
And if I'm not, then, you know, I'm thinking about, you know, I'm playing the don't pass.
You underestimate the power of the dark side.
And then I'm gonna, you know, throw a bet to the dealer and have them put it on the DC. You know, but then at a red chip level, minimum table, how am I doing this again? Well, I've got a couple of different ideas. I mean, I like having a decent size flat bet, and I don't like putting odds on the don'ts.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
I don't think it's worth the risk, and I think if you can get a bigger flat bet out there, then that's even money. So, you know, I was thinking about, what was I thinking about? Oh, shoot. Oh, it was pass line with odds. Or don't pass line with odds.
Give yourself to the dark side.
One of the things I like doing is put a $25 bet on the don't pass or the don't come.
You underestimate the power of the dark side.
Because then that $25 will earn $25. It's even money. But then your odds, you know, you would have to, let's just say it was a 5 or a 9, and you had a $25 bet out there. You'd get even money. But let's say I wanted to put a $10 don't pass or don't come.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
And it was on the 5 or 9. And then I wanted to add odds, and I could add $15 to that $10 bet, and that would be my $25 bet. You know, my $25 flat bet would earn me $25. However, this $10 with $15 odds would only generate me $20. The $10 flat would get 10, and then the $15 odds would get 10, because it pays 3 pays 2 on the don't come.
Give yourself to the dark side.
On the 5 and 9. So your $25 risk only earns you 20 versus having a $25 flat bet already out there and then getting that 25 back. So I kind of like the idea of having a bigger flat bet and not risking the odds, because you're always going to have a little more at risk than what you're earning. So so that all being said, you know, I'll probably just minimum bet the don't come and possibly the don't pass.
You underestimate the power of the dark side.
But I think the don't pass, if I end up playing that, I'll probably be a quarter. I'm thinking most of my don't bets are going to be a quarter, and because I'm not doing any odds. I mean, I'd like to. I mean, that's kind of the thing is I would do a $10 bet and then add $15 odds. So I might as well just go ahead and do that from the beginning. Now, we've debated, hedging your don't pass bet.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
At what level do you start thinking about hedging? I think at a minimum amount, there's no need to hedge. I mean, it's just a part of the gamble. But I think, when you get to, if you did $100 don't pass or don't come.
Give yourself to the dark side.
On the don't come for sure, and possibly the don't pass.
You underestimate the power of the dark side.
You might want to hedge on the 11 because you'll lose on the 11. So, but you could put a $5 bet on the 11 and win $75. It's not the 100 that you have at risk, but at least it's a partial hedge only for a nickel. So at a certain level, and I think that level is $50. Because, the 11, if you hop the 11 or have a bet on the 11, it's going to pay 15 to 1. And so with a $25 bet, then it's, you want to put $2 out there, and $2 will win you 30 from your 25. So, and then you're going to win 23 out of that 25 from that hedge, which still is not that bad, but, is it okay to lose a quarter? I guess it just depends on how many quarters you're losing. And whether that $2 is worth it. So that's why I'm saying if it's $50, then you might throw out $4, or you could just throw out $5, and then if it comes, then you're making a little, a nickel or a $15 profit, or no, 75. You're winning a quarter profit. So, and then there's a whole nother strategy once you do that. If you win the 50. Let's just say you got your don't pass out there, and you hedge it with a nickel, and it's a $50 don't pass, and then you hedge your yo 11 with a nickel, and they throw an 11, so you lose your 50, but you gain a quarter, and you lose, but you win 75 from your nickel yo. So the 50 goes back on your don't pass. And then you've got probably $20 back, because the 5 will go back to the yo. So, unless they give it back to you. Either way, but you guys are following what I'm trying to say. So, I think $50 and up is is probably the right time to think about hedging your don't pass bet and don't come bet.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
But I still don't think it's necessary. But once you're going over 100, I think you really should think about it, even if it's a partial hedge. 50% of your money, once you're getting up that much, I mean, that can take a real big hit. But, we're low rolling and red chip playing, so we don't have to worry about that on this trip. But that's just something to think about, is when you're playing on the different kinds of hedges that you can play, but are they worth it? And I think it all depends on, the size of the bet and the exposure you've got, on whether or not it's worth it. I mean, you're still gambling, and that's the whole point. So, but since we're low rolling this time, we won't have to worry about any of that. So, we just crossed the state line into Louisiana. We have about 22 miles to go, and then we will be checking into the Isle of Capri. So looking forward to to my low rolling strategy. So we'll see. Hopefully it should be fine. I'm not nervous or nothing. I definitely want to keep an eye on the table and try to watch trends. Hopefully catch, when the table's hot or when the table's warm to bet on the bonuses. And then, go back and forth between positive and, a few negative, a few don't come bets possibly.
You underestimate the power of the dark side.
Yeah, one of the other strategies I like playing or that I like messing with is a don't pass bet.
Give yourself to the dark side.
And then a positive 6 and 8. Where I'm doing a $25 don't pass.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
Then I've got a $12 6 and 8. So, if you lose, you lose off the bat, then you get the 25 from the don't pass.
You underestimate the power of the dark side.
But then if you're able to get the 6s and 8s up there, then you're winning money on top of that. So that's a nice little loop or little three-way action that I like messing with. I haven't mastered it. I don't know what I want to do with it, but I like the combination. I don't know how long I need to be playing it. But that's probably something else I'll be working on today. Since that you can do that with it's completely low rolling because it's a wash, just as long as you don't get beat with a couple of, first points. And first points and then being 6s and 8s too. It's almost like that. That's a good bet if it's a 4 and 10, or 5 and 9 is okay, but 4 and 10 that's perfect. If you're on the don't pass,
give yourself to the dark side
for 25 and then a $12 6 and 8. Hopefully they won't roll that 4 or 10 for a while. They'll throw some 6s and 8s. You make money on the 6s and 8s. Turn them off and then just wait for your don't pass to make it. So we'll see if that works. I think I'll try that play tonight as well. And I don't know if there's anything else, but that's plenty, I'm sure. And then I really just want to scout the table, scout Friday nights. All those congested times that just, to me, always means that nobody's going to have a long roll. It's not conducive to those kind of rolls, is my suspicion. But let me look and pay attention, and then I'll let you all know. So I think that's going to be about it for my trip up there, and then I will converse with y'all maybe in between on the road, in between casinos, or definitely on the way home. So anyway, thanks for listening, y'all. Wish me luck. I'll be back in a little bit. Adios. Well, here we are on our way back from the weekend at the Golden Nugget, and actually didn't have a bad trip. Got up here, left on after work on Friday, got here Friday night, checked into the Golden Nugget, or excuse me, to the Isle of Capri for 2 nights, and didn't really go out on Friday night to play craps. Was pretty much walking around, scouting out. All the tables were packed for a Friday night. Pretty much everywhere was. Went to Isle of Capri to start with, and it was full. Both tables were full, so there wasn't really a spot. So left on Friday night to go over to the Golden Nugget. Spent time over the Golden Nugget. They had I think 4 tables at the time that I was over there running, and all full. They were all $15 tables. And then walked over to LAUBERGE to see how their tables were, and they had 3 tables going, 3 out of their 4, and they were all at $25. Each one of those were packed. So pretty much just walked around to all the different casinos and said thanks but no thanks, because they were all full. No room for me at the inn. So, and then learned my lesson to not play any other games and lose money, because I didn't have the bankroll for it. I only had my craps bankroll, so therefore I didn't waste my bankroll on other games. So I had discipline and didn't use the money, didn't waste it Friday night. So then Saturday comes along, and I start playing, or I go down to the Isle of Capri, and one table, and it's full before, I think it was around 9 o'clock. So I'm like, well, why don't I run down to Kashada? I know that they'll open more tables at afternoon at Isle of Capri, so let's go to Kashada. We can play a session over there, and then I can come back. And so that's exactly what I did. So we go to Kashada, and Kashada has one $5 table, and then they had 2 $10 tables open. And I was able to get in at the $5 table, and didn't get into my spot, but got into SL2, so I was 1 over from the stick on the left-hand side. But I still threw, and threw okay. I had 117 throw with a point, and I think I had one more that was around 11, and I hit 2 points. But didn't hit any bonuses over at Lake Charles, or excuse me, at Kashada. So just ended up slow playing, doing $18 6s and 8s, bumping those up to 30 for a few people, and then turning off those bets, and then sometimes pressing them up to 60, and then taking them down to 32 or 34 inside to regress. But did that, different variations of that, and spent basically an hour at Kashada, and ended up being up $100. So good for me. I bought in for 500, so actually made 100, so that's my 20%. So boom, I'm out of there. So next, then I go to I go to the Golden Nugget to pick up my tickets for 311, because 311 was playing at the Golden Nugget on Saturday night, so that was a lot of fun. But yeah, basically from Kashada I go back to Isle of Capri to play, and Isle of Capri had 2 tables going, so both of them were $10 tables, and was able to find a spot again at stick left 2, and that table was okay. I actually I think I ended up playing there for about another hour, and didn't have any decent rolls. The table was fairly choppy, but I couldn't really cross over to the don't.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
It didn't really work out that well. Every time I would try to do a don't pass or don't combat, I'd get knocked off.
You underestimate the power of the dark side.
And then I'd have a sour taste in my mouth, and I wouldn't want to get burnt on the same player. So it just didn't work out. So I stayed on the positive side for the whole weekend. Turns out it was, Sunday became really hot. Saturday was up and down. So I ended up, I think, when I came back to, when I left, Kashada, I said I was up 100. And then when I had my afternoon session at Isle of Capri, I think I was down like 150. And then I went to the concert, and then not only that, but I had they had from my play at Isle of Capri, I earned myself the free all-you-can-eat crab leg and steak buffet. So that was a $45.99 value. So that was kind of nice. I had that before the 311 concert. So I went over to Golden Nugget after dinner, and then yeah, Golden Nugget has an upstairs to their casino. So basically the casino's on the first floor, and they've got the hotels attached to you know, two wings or the end, and then you know, around the hotel surrounds the pool. But above the casino is like convention space, and so they've got this massive convention room with a stage, and so 311 played to, I don't know, maybe 3,000 people. I mean, could have been much more than that, but it was general, or, you know, standing room on the floor and then seats on the side, but they were like, you know, little bleacher seats with nice chairs. So standing room only was great. You know, you could hear everything, you could see everything, and they put on a very good show. I didn't realize they said that they were celebrating 30 years being together, so good for them. Great show, and good pull for Golden Nugget, and thanks. That was it was fun. So then that thing ended. Yeah, it started at 8, so it was over by 10. And then just like you would think, the casino was just slam packed. And so I walked around and couldn't find. All 6 tables were working, and the 2 in the back were 25. Everything else was 15. And then so I couldn't find anything there, so I decided to walk over to LAUBERGE, and was able to see something. I don't know if we've mentioned. I think we've mentioned it before, but I will be able to document proof. But walking in between. So there's 2 ways to get to LAUBERGE from Golden Nugget. You can walk out the front door and take the sidewalk to LAUBERGE's front door, or you can walk out the back side of the Golden Nugget onto the boardwalk down out by the water, and then from there you can walk on the boardwalk to the back of LAUBERGE. So that's those are the 2 ways to go. So I walked the backside, and basically you're looking at the water and walking on the pier, and it's I don't know, like a less than a 5-minute walk. But that's how you get to LAUBERGE. And so I walked over there, and they had 3 tables going. They were all $25, and they were all full. And I walked around, and it didn't look like anybody was going to get up, and I didn't really want to force myself on anybody either. So ended up just kind of wandering around LAUBERGE, and then finally came back to Golden Nugget. And I want to say now it's probably 11:45, and I find my spot at the table at the Golden Nugget. So it's a stick left 1, and the table's, it's 12:30 now, or it's 11:45. So now it's thinned out just a little bit. I think somebody must have, you know, 7'd out, and half the table lost their money, so half of it was kind of open, and so I jumped in, and then sure enough, a couple minutes later, you know, the table's back to being full. So, but I was able to roll a couple of times, but didn't have any success. I still, oh no, I didn't roll at all, because it is Golden Nugget, and I told myself I wasn't going to bet at I wasn't going to throw with the Golden Nugget. And I passed the dice each time, and then was betting on other people, and was positive and was playing the bonus, and so I was doing a tall and small for $5, so still a $10 bet. That's kind of what I was doing the whole trip. Well, the second half of Saturday and then the rest of Sunday. was basically put the minimum bet and then a $5 tall and small bet for a $10 bonus bet. Not worry about the middle. And it ended up working out pretty well. I ended up rolling a couple of ATSs for myself, and then several other people at the tables, different sessions, got ATSs. I want to say I probably got 5 small bonuses with 5 on it. I never hit one when I had my $10 on it, but I didn't roll a lot. The tables were, well, I knew I didn't want to roll a lot. I knew I didn't want to have the same experience I had last time, where I'm like, I'm the only one at the table, and I roll, 8 times in 15 minutes, and then I'm betting heavy on myself, and so that just drains me down. I think I'm thinking that if I roll 3 times, that's in one session, that's probably enough. I don't need to roll more than that. If I'm not doing anything on those 3, then I probably need to take a break anyway or have another session. So, but that's just, you call it like you see it when you're in the field. Let's see. So Saturday night, I want to say I played probably 2 hours, which was probably an hour and 45 minutes too long. But I really wanted to experience Friday night, at a casino, what the crowd's like. And sure enough, it was exactly what I thought it was. You had people with negative energy and negative karma walking up to the table and disrupting it. And then, you're trying to be positive and trying to be hopeful, and so you're not betting on the don't because you want to keep positive, or the couple times you do bet on the don't, then you lose, and then you're like, why did I do that? I wanted to be positive with the table, and your head starts spinning. So and I think, again, late night gambling is fine, but late night throwing you shouldn't do, because you're tired from standing. You've been standing all day, and now you're just standing more. So that was kind of one of the things I figured out, is I can play craps, but I'm not going to throw craps because I'm just exhausted. So anyway, so played Saturday night and ended up playing for 2 hours, left probably around 1:30. I think it was 1:30, and then was down I think 350. So was already down a little bit from the Isle of Capri afternoon session. So I think at this point I'm down 500 for the day, or for that Saturday. So then this morning I get up and start anew, and really wanted to play at Isle of Capri with the crew that I like, and sure enough, they were working this morning. So as soon as I got to the table at 9 this morning, I got in, and the table initially was pretty bad. It was a lot of PSOs, a lot of 0.7 outs. It was really, really not looking good. And then guy to my right ends up rolling, and he hits his first point, and he gets kind of close on the ATS, and then it's my turn, and since it's my first roll, I decide not to go too crazy since I'm already down, and I just put a $10 bet with my bonus. I put my bet down and for the pass line, and then match my bonus. So I've got $10 bonus, 5 on the tall, 5 on the small, and the $10 pass line. Because I'm out of position and I've got 20 times odds, so I can, put anything behind the odds I want. So anyway, I start rolling and actually had a very, very great roll. I ended up hitting 7 points and also hit half of the ATS. And that was pretty cool. I decided to, after that was pretty great. I was actually, I don't think I've hit that many points in a long time. So I always had odds, so I was making money, but I'm a regression bettor, so I wasn't putting a lot of odds. I was putting more minimum odds, so I didn't make as much money as I could have. But then again, who makes 7 points? That's just freaking crazy. So anyway, so I had to go to the bathroom, so I left, and then I was actually, that was the other thing. I was out of position. That was the other thing. I was out of position at stick right 1, at SR 1, and so I don't throw from that direction. I practice that way when we're at home sometimes, but my table's short, so it doesn't really matter. I was at stick right 1, and which is basically me out of position, so that's why I didn't bet my normal $25 bet. I only bet a $10 bet with the minimum on the, with the $10 minimum and then a $10 bonus bet. So anyway, so I ended up, like I said, hit 7 points and half the ATS, so 175 for that half of the ATS, and then after that roll, which was probably a good 45 minutes or so, I had to go to the bathroom, so I left the table, and the lady who was stick left started to roll, and I had seen her from a roll before, and she had PSO'd the time before, so I wasn't too worried about missing out on her roll. Well, I take my time in the bathroom and I get back to the table, and lo and behold, she's still rolling, and she's almost hit half of the ATS, and so I'm just sitting there waiting. I mean, she's been rolling for a while, so my assumption is that she's not going to keep rolling, so I just decided to save my money and not lose it on her throwing a 7 on her next roll. So I'm just sitting back watching it, and she's hitting number after number after number after number, and she makes my roll look stupid, although I don't think she got 7 points. She ended up hitting the all tall and the all small, so it hit the full bonus, and it just hurt because if I didn't go to the bathroom, I would have had the money on. I would have had money on the bonus bet, and so I lost out on $175 and another good roll. But that was the thing. How often do you see back-to-back good rolls? That hardly ever happens. And then what happens? Guy next to her ended up hitting half the ATS. So we ended up having 3 really good rolls right in a row, and made some really good money. So I ended up making $500 this morning within hour and a half. Then had to go back and check out of the hotel, and then took a little break, and then went back to the table and went and tried again, and lo and behold, the ATS was still hot, and so 2 more people hit half of the ATS while I had $5 on it, and I rolled another time and hit 3 points. Didn't hit the bonus, but ended up hitting my my 6. 6s were hot for me, so I was able to press my 6 up to 60 and had that hit a couple of times. So yeah, hard 6s were hitting pretty well for me. I was able to press my I was starting out at $12 and getting to 30, and then going to 60, or 18 to 30 to 60, So I was able to do that a few times, and actually that was how I made money on me, was I was hitting 6s and 8s. So anyway, so then yeah, my second session, I ended up winning another $500, and so that puts me up $1,000 for the trip. And I said, yep, I think I'm done, and finished strong on the end of my weekend, and think I know how I'd like to approach the weekends going forward if I'm going to do this Friday-Saturday deal. I think the Friday-Saturday deal is, I mean, play your machines if you want to Friday night, you know, play your video poker, your whatever you want to do, but don't worry about the craps tables at night. You've been traveling all day, your legs are tired, you know, you're not acclimated 100%. Now this is different for day trips, what I'm talking about for a Friday, Saturday. So, you know, so that's what I'm thinking about. So if that's the case, then yeah, so kind of get acclimated, have a good time, enjoy yourself Friday night, and then don't necessarily have to get up early on Saturday. I've been up early and the table is either empty or full, and you've got dealers who are tired and want to go home, or tired because they just got on the job. And so every time I've tried to go down to Golden Nugget in the early, you know, before 9, I'm not sure that I'm getting the quality staff that I want to get when I'm rolling. So I don't think I need to force it, especially since I'll be there all day, you know, Saturday, and then, you know, Sunday morning. So go for quality time. And so was looking to go find places to play closer to 10, 11. And, you know, the other thing is, since basically all those tables were full, I went to Kashada, and Kashada had multiple tables open and the opportunity for a $5 table. So I thought that was good. But I really think the key to my winning success was the luck of the all tall small bonus bet. You know, we've all been there where it doesn't hit. You know, you play it all night and it doesn't hit. Well, I don't know, there was something about today. It just felt good, felt right. The karma was good. The dealers were all getting along. The table was getting along. It was just a really good karma day. And so, yeah, I was able to make up my losses from yesterday and pull out a win. So, happy about that. So, yeah, one of the stories that I had mentioned on Twitter, actually, and our Twitter handle is @99%craps, @99 PERCENTCRAPS. So yeah, it was Saturday. It was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday afternoon. I'd never seen this ever. So I'm at Isla Capri, and there's this lady rolling, and you know, older lady, not a young lady, but she knows what she's doing. She's a craps player, but she's all the way down at the hook, you know, which is, you know, you got the flat side where you got the stick, and then you got stick right 1 and then right 2, and then you've got that curve part, that's the hook, and then you got straight out, and then you got the guy who's next to straight out in the corner by the don't come box. So anyway, this lady was at the hook, and I think she was probably throwing with her left hand. And so throwing with her left hand, she's throwing down, you know, straight down the line, pretty much, you know, right on top of the pass line bets, and because she's at the hook. And so she throws a couple of times and you know, makes her point, and then it's her turn to roll for the come out for her second point. And she's throwing, she's picking up the dice and she's setting them, but it's not like she's really, you know, throwing them. She's kind of chicken feeding, tossing them. So, but she's throwing them underhand. So she sets the dice, gets them in her fingertips, and then throws them underhanded to down the table, but the dice ended up hitting the stick lady. So the stick person was a lady. Hits her in the chest with the dice. Now, the interesting thing that happened next was, well, one, I had never seen that before ever in my life. I'd never seen somebody hit the stick man with both dice. I've seen maybe hit the stick man with one dice, but not both dice. And even if it hits the stick man, it's a rare occurrence, and somebody's apologizing and you know, drunk or something. But this was in the afternoon. There was no alcohol involved. This was, you know, like not a little old lady, but a middle-aged lady, and she tosses the dice, and they hit the stick person right in the chest. Well, they hit her on the left side of the chest, and they actually don't bounce continuously down the table. They actually bounce on the table, but back a little bit. They didn't even cross halfway. So, but both dice do land back on the table, and sure enough, stick person calls the roll. Doesn't say no roll. Calls 4, 3, 7. Winner on the come out. And I was laughing my ass off. I don't think I've ever seen a roll that hit the stick person, came back the same way, or came back at the shooter. So they didn't even cross halfway, and then they then it becomes a 7 and it's a winner. Usually it's a 7 and a loser, but no, this was a 7 and a winner. So it was just, I'd never seen that, you know. And then to top that, you know, 3 times today, see a guy who's at the end at Isla Capri. He throws the dice off the table about 3 or 4 times. And he wasn't trying to do that either, and it was early in the morning. It was early in the afternoon, so he wasn't drunk either. So it was a craps full weekend. There was a lot of things going on. Oh, I know what I forgot to mention. I forgot to mention that, you know, I saw a few lucky signs. You know, we talk about superstitions and things of that nature. You know, one of the superstitions that I took to heart this trip was pretty much any time the dice rolled off the table, I turned off my bets. That just saved me an opportunity to just, you know, take a breather, calm down. You know, especially if the shooter had been rolling for a while. If the shooter hadn't been rolling for a while, then I might not do it. But if he did, then I took the opportunity to turn that off. Lo and behold, I'd say 50% of the time, he rolled a 7 on the next roll. And then after that, probably another 50% of the roll was the second roll. So it paid off to turn off my bets. So that is one of those superstitions of, you know, when the dice fall off the table, you know, a 7 will show. And so that's why everybody turns off their bets. That is one thing I took advantage of this time. So another one that was happening that, I don't know, I want to say that they train the staff at Isla Capri better than the staff at the other casinos, because when the shooter's rolling the dice and the waitress comes up to them, that's kind of another no-no. That's kind of another big superstition that you don't do. You don't mess up. You really just leave the shooter alone. So when a waitress comes around and asks, that's another time where, you know, now you're messing with the rhythm. He's thinking about the waitress and not the dice, and boom, there's a 7. So that's another one that happens. Those are like pretty big main ones. Although, you know, the absolute ultimate is not to say 7 at the table. You know, that's a big faux pas. You know, you should, you know, especially if the point is on. If the point's not on, you can get away with saying it, but still just don't make it a habit. So, but so those are some superstitions, the main ones. But a couple of the small little itty bitty ones that I've been able to pick up is they have, when you're walking between Golden Nugget and LAUBERGE on the boardwalk in the back by the water, as you're leaving Golden Nugget and going over the boardwalk into the backyard of LAUBERGE, they've got this big lawn that's across from it's basically behind the casino and across from where the volleyball courts are. This big green pasture of grass, typically on a good day could have anywhere from I don't know, 3 to a dozen rabbits. And we walking in between, we don't see them every time, but when we do, those are the lucky rabbits. And so I was able to see 5 lucky rabbits yesterday, and from my walk in between, and that was pretty cool. So I didn't take a picture, but it's not a good one because it was at night. So I'll post that up there after we throw this episode out there. That way you guys have some reference. But yeah, I was able to see them, and why we call them lucky? Well, they have both their feet. That's why they're lucky. They still got the lucky one. So that's why they're lucky rabbits. But so I thought that'd be a good sign for me to be going and gambling at LAUBERGE, but the tables were full, and so I wasn't able to play. So that was a no-go for the lucky rabbit at the Golden Nugget, but still overall good karma, and I was able to pick up on the lucky rabbits. Then lucky animal number 2 came into the mix. I didn't know that I had a second lucky animal, but I guess we do. And so when I was staying at the Isle of Capri, I had to park for the for the hotel. Typically I park for the casino because I just go to the casino, I don't go to the hotel. So you park in the garage for the casino. Well, there's a different area to park for the hotel, and it's more outdoor. It's non-covered parking, but it's got landscaping and stuff all along the base of the hotel and casino, and so it's it's a nice walk back to the casino. Well, lo and behold, what do I see? I see 4 different cats, all different. They're homeless, living around there or whatever, strays, but they were pretty chill. They were just kind of hanging out, they weren't like bothering anybody. They were just, it looked like they were almost living there, just kind of being house cats. And so I thought that was pretty decent. And so that were my I look at pretty lucky cats. Saw 4 of those, and then saw 1 more today. So I guess that made 5, and I saw 5 rabbits yesterday. So overall, it was a good lucky animal weekend for me. So, but that was interesting. I didn't know they had cats because I park in the garage, and you don't see any of that stuff in the garage. So, but what else? I don't know. I think that's pretty much it. I told y'all how I was playing strategically, and I liked what was happening. It just, you had to catch a hot roller, and different rollers were hot on different items. The 6 was hot, the 5 was hot for a while, but it was, you really kind of had to get lucky with turning your bets on and off, because sometimes I'd get it right and sometimes I wouldn't, and then you'd lose. You'd be able to raise all your money out there, so you'd have $25 5 and 9 and a $30 6 and 8. Well, depending on the point, that could be $80, $85 at risk. So So if you turn that off, you know, that's $85 that you have in your pocket after that roll. So again, you have to decide, you know, how long is too long to leave your bets exposed. And that was kind of what I was doing for this trip. Just kind of, you know, it's like playing in hot water, you know. You try to do it as long as you can without getting burnt, you know. And sometimes it hurts. Well, what are we going to talk about next? Well, I think next would be I finally followed my rules. I finally stopped when I needed to stop, both being positive, or both with a for my win goal and with my stop loss. Was able to play those both and didn't have a problem with that. Before I would have problems with that, now I didn't. So that was good for this weekend. I was able to keep that under control, and that's something I've had problems with, so yay for that. So I think that might be it for today. Thank you guys for listening. I will be back out here as soon as I can, taking advantage of studio time on the road to and from, and hopefully we'll keep this positive streak going. Take care out there, and hope y'all are winning as well. The Red Eye Gamblers, thank you for your time, and hope you got a little something out of this week's podcast.
Here's to rolling sevens on the come out, and may your sixes and eights always be hard. Cheers.